Hello, folks. This is Amigo from Embargo Man. Okay, so when we listen to it, and then for the reason why NFL games are played outside the US and everything like that, beyond all this, this trend is going on. And when I see on TV, oh, where they're playing. Okay, where are they playing? Okay, an NFL game played in Europe, like in England, like in Germany. What's next? Japan, Asia, Korea. They already played an NFL game in Brazil and South America, where AKA soccer. And let me tell you all this, all right? All this was going on, right? The thing what is going on right now is that this trend is coming in. Why? Because of popularity of a different sport. I know that the NFL wants to get in other markets besides going to this political thing. Like, sports and politics don't mix, all right? So beyond all this, let me tell you that what is going on is quite often, right? So the first thing it is, they play with the American Bowl. The American Bowl is played when they play American football outside. The NFL preseason games of the NFL played outside the US, played in London, played in Tokyo, Japan, and whatnot, sometimes Mexico, and try to introduce the game, right? So the only American sports that have succeeded would be basketball and baseball, right? The NFL and NBA and MLB has done very successful, right? So in certain markets where one certain sport is very successful, they try to introduce the NFL, right? So put it that way, what is going on right now is that they're gonna do regular seasons very often to play outside the US. I know there are NFL games played in Canada, but with all this situation now, all the situation now, and I seen when they played the American national anthem, people booed because of because of political reasons, right? So they're putting all this political BS into sports. Sports is something's a good time just to see a football game or a soccer game, aka football, what it's called in the other countries outside the US, outside North America. Then let's go settle in with everything, right? The number one reason why NFL games will be held outside the US, regular season games, is because sooner or later the MLS will be bigger than the NFL for a reason why, right? Not because of that, older generations, this says, oh, they cannot understand soccer. But there's people very familiar with baseball, very familiar with soccer, and they like it. and you know what? Most likely this is going to hit a new market. The strategy is, when a new sport come into town, or when a sport that is going to be very similar come in, only to just dethrone the NFL, it would be simple as that, as to just play a regular season game in London, play the regular season game in Germany, then play even in Spain, Spanish speaking countries, Spain, the Hispanic part of Europe, right? Spain. Yeah, play a game in Spain, you know, and whatnot, you know, play in Asia. Yeah, they were playing some NFL games to be planned. You know, like this would be more likely where this trend is going, where it's going to be is like this. The next phase of the NFL game will be played in the Middle East, all right? They will play in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, all right? So a regular season game or the playoffs, most likely, like let's say MLS would be this. Okay, for put this reason, right? Next year or in 2026, however it goes, because the World Cup is coming, I mean, what is going to be, and then you have another league called the UFL. All right, so the NFL and the UFL you just absorb it, but then what's going on? What's going on with all this? All right, so what's going to happen is that the NFL season moving from February to the summer, you know, to the summertime, right? Then you're gonna absorb the UFL, or they're gonna add more teams, and they're gonna play in the summer instead of like during the time of winter, right? So gonna happen in 2026? How this thing of sports would be? The NFL still the number one sports league in North America. But in 2026 is gonna everything is going to change. It's going to change for where it goes. You have another league that in the summer used to be called the XFL, and now it's the UFL. Is going to be absorbed because I will tell you what, there was the NFL, American football, they were trying to spread. You have NFL Europe. And in Japan, you have the X League. The X League is American football in Japan. And I see all this going on with the phase one, like how it works in there. Then what would happen is that after 2026, the NFL would absorb another, the UFL. It would be absorbed, merged, just like what happened with the AFL. You know, back then it was the NFL and AFL. That's how the Super Bowl started. Now they're going to move to where it goes after 2026, NFL versus UFL. And then they merge. This is where they start a merger. And this is when they change from the NFL season from the fall to the summer or spring, all right? So they will go right there where they change the Super Bowl or everything. And then the MLS final would be bigger than the Super Bowl, right? So let me tell you why, right? Because this event that is coming was called football in the rest of the world, soccer here. So what it is held where the FIFA World Cup is held in US, Canada, and Mexico, right? So it's held in 3 countries. Then what will happen is with all this, if that comes, then what's going to happen, the NFL absorbs the UFL. It changes the season. It's like what happened one time, right? One time that there was 40 something. The differences there were, and right there in Atlanta, Georgia, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, there was a Super Bowl, and then after that, the MLS final had more people than the Super Bowl. And let me tell you how soccer, or what is called football in the rest of the world, has been impact of this sport that is going to change. What's going on with this is going to be more often. We're going to have NFL games played out, regular season games, right? Played outside the U.S. we're gonna add, besides that, we're gonna add Australia. We're gonna add other European countries, could be even in Amsterdam, Holland, right? So then you have regular season games in Germany, regular season games in Asia, Japan, and South Korea. And all this suddenly, just because after 2026 is gonna be like one season, certain games playing. Like we are gonna have some playoff, let's say Miami playing in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or something, or playoffs or something. It would be very easy for teams, Florida-based teams, where the weather is kind of like hot. Let's say, yeah, the Miami Dolphins played in Abu Dhabi or Dubai in the UAE, right? So that would be like this. Then you're gonna have the first, probably you're gonna have the first Super Bowl played outside the U.S. All right, so if we have the first Super Bowl played outside the U.S., it would be in Asia, right? So that would be either one of the Florida teams or even Miami playing outside the U.S. a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. Then it moves from the season. Then you have the MLS finals being bigger than the Super Bowl, right? So the Super Bowl is gonna be less interest after 2026, and let me tell you why, right? So the reason why of all this gonna happen is that what will happen with the NFL expanding in other markets. Besides that, they're gonna acquire the X League of Japan. They acquired it, and they called it NFL Japan. They're gonna form NFL Korea, all right? So there it is, NFL Korea. And let me tell you what, the markets where the MLB gets more fans than the NFL is like this, all right? So for now on, let me tell you about it, right? Just because of soccer coming here, I mean, there's more people in an MLB game in Japan than in the U.S. in 2026. Let me tell you why. For another event going, this is baseball, right? But the NFL, American football, put it this way. But what's going on right now with the Chiefs and Eagles playing, I would bet this is all this political BS is going on. I mean, with all this discrimination, stop racism, getting out of the lines, you know, why not put something that unites us? United we stand, divided we fall. All right, so that is something that we have to put together without regarding all this political BS in there, because politics and sports don't mix. The reason why politics and sport don't mix is because of the Super Bowl that is coming. Whoever wins, everybody has to say something with unity and with all this, regardless of this political BS agenda, regardless of your left or right. We all have to be center-minded and be center-minded in one way or the other, because when we all get together, when we see in a sporting event, doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, we all need to stand together. We all are human beings, one world, together, and whatever it is and what's going on in the world of sports brings people together. Doesn't matter if it's baseball, doesn't matter if it's basketball, hockey, football, aka called in the other parts of the world soccer. It brings people together. All right, so what it is with this political mambo jumbo, you know, let me tell you all this. Politics and sports don't mix together, all right? So please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. Please write me a comment. I'll see you in the next video of other things that has importance to everyone else, because from now on, I know the topic what is going to be, because get ready for this. This is going to be a very hot topic, because whatever you're gonna do, or whatever you know about this, was going on with all this, you might not know what will be next, because it's not regarding of the way you look or how you're gonna look like. It's regarding on something, on your safety issues, on your life, because what's going on besides sports is going to be something very crucial and very, very, very most obvious thing was going on. It's all has to be all, besides leaving the political matter aside, is going to be very important, and stay tuned. Goodbye, peace out, and hit the bell button. Please don't forget to subscribe.